welcome to another episode of By the Lakeside. It has been quite a while since I have filmed here, and I think it's been almost a month, maybe more. But I have been really busy working on new products, doing shop updates, doing some gardening, and spending time outside and with my family, and it has been really, really nice. But I'm also very happy to be back because I have quite a few things that I really have been wanting to share with you for a couple of weeks now, so I've been putting them aside. I have lots of new knitting projects. I'm very excited about my knitting right now, so I have a lot of those to share with you. I have a book that I've been reading and really enjoying. I'm thinking it's the perfect summer read, so I'm going to share that with you. I have a new cookbook that I'm in love with. And I also filmed a little get ready with me this morning because if you guys know me, you know I love makeup, but I've really been trying to streamline my morning routine, especially since we're all home. And I still like to put a bit of makeup on, and I have been loving Merit Cosmetics. I think I shared a little bit of what I've been using from them a few episodes ago, but I have a couple more products, and I did a 5-minute morning routine and filmed it, and I'm going to insert that here so you can get an idea of what I've been using and loving. I've been using Merit Cosmetics for a few months now, and I've loved them so much that they've become a part of my everyday makeup routine. I love how streamlined and simple they are, but I can still get a really polished look with just a few items. I thought it would be fun to film a little get ready with me video where I can share what I use, what colors, and which ones are my favorites. I'm starting out with the Perfecting Complexion Stick in the color Ochre. This is a cross between a foundation stick and a concealer, and it works great to cover up redness and under eye circles. One of my absolute favorite items in this whole range is the brush along with this complexion stick. It is so soft and blends everything out so nicely. My absolute favorite product from the entire range is their cheek color. I love the packaging, I love the colors, and I love a good cream blush. I'm using this color Terracotta as a bit of a bronzer, but it's also a beautiful blush. I'm just using it to warm up my face a little bit because I feel a little pale. And then I'm blending it in with a brush, and then I go back in with the cheek color Mood to add a pop of color on my cheeks. Now I'm going to fill in my brows a little bit with the volumizing pomade in the color Brown, which is a little difficult to do on camera. It's a really nice dry product, so it doesn't get globby and all over the place, which I really like. So it's quick and just fills in any little areas of your brows that need it. Time for some lashes. I'm using the lengthening mascara in Perfect Black, and I'm a little bit picky when it comes to mascara. I really like it to lengthen and fill in my lashes, but I also have sensitive eyes, and this one is really great. It does all of the things I want it to, and it doesn't flake off or smudge at all. Even with a really simple pared down makeup look, I love a little highlighter, and so I'm using the highlighting balm in the color Bounce, And I love this stick format. It's really easy to apply and it's super moisturizing. And I add a little bit to the tops of my cheeks and my brow bone and even a little bit on my nose. Time to finish off the look with another one of my favorite items. It is the tinted lip oil in the color Au Naturel. I love a good chapstick and lip balm, and this is exactly that with just the perfect amount of color. It finishes off my 5-minute morning makeup look. I've just gathered all of my current knitting projects and my coffee so that I can share them with you. And I've noticed, I think I have a little bit of a bunny bag problem. This is what I've been working on for the last couple of months, and I'm using them for every single one of my projects right now. I'm obsessed with them. They are so easy to tote around the house. They are nice and compact, but they fit so much stuff in there. And I really love taking it outside to the backyard and sitting at my patio table with a little project. I'm just really enjoying them. So I have 5 knitting projects I want to share today. This is one of the new colors. This is Iris, and I love it. And I thought while I was pulling them out, in case you are not on Instagram, I thought I would share some of the new leather colors that I've added to my collection. This is Black Plum, which I love. Iris, which is the same as my bunny bag. It's really interesting color. It can look slightly taupish, but it has this beautiful mauve kind of tinge to it. This is Deep Water, and this is Seafoam. So I'm really, really loving these colors, and I have them in all of the bunny bags as well. And I also kept a tote bag for myself. So I am going to be transferring all of my stuff into an everything tote bag in Black Plum because I'm a huge fan of purple. And I feel like this is just the most beautiful, deep, dark shade of plum. I'm in love with it. So this is going to be my carry-all tote for the summer and probably into fall. And I wanted to mention that I do have pre-order listings in my shop right now for the everything leather tote bags in all of the colors, including the new ones. And I don't normally put pre-orders up for the small tote bags, but because I have so many colors now and I wasn't sure how many to do of each one, I decided to add that to the pre-orders. So if you've been wanting an everything leather tote bag, which is this one, or the small leather tote bag, they are all available to pre-order in the shop and in all of the colors. So they'll be there for about another week or so, probably about the first week of June, because they take about 4 to 6 weeks to make and then package up and ship out. So those are all available. I wanted to mention, and I'm gonna get myself all set up and open up my bags so that I can start sharing all of my whips with you. Let's get into some knitting. So the first thing I have to share is a finished object. Astonishing, I know. But I finally finished a project that has been on my needles for quite a while. It is a pair of shorty vanilla socks using the beautiful Legacy Fiber Arts Cozy Toes base in the color Woodland Shenanigans. And I know that I've shared this a few times, but I am so happy that they are finally off the needles that I wanted to share again. So I love these socks. I just used the vanilla sock recipe from Susan B. Anderson. If you Google How I Make My Socks by Susan B. Anderson, you can find her recipe. It's just a really easy, I think it's 64 stitches you cast on a 2.25 millimeter needle. which is my needle of choice for fingering weight socks. I knit these using DPN needles. These are Knit Pro Zings. I think they might be called something else now. I'm not sure. Knitter's Pride, maybe. But when I purchased these were Knit Pro Zings. They're the 2.25 millimeter. And I kind of think, even though I jump between a magic loop and a DPN sock for knitting, I think my preference is DPNs. I've been thinking about it. And even though I like to do a magic loop sock once in a while, I think I just really prefer the DPN needles. So I love these socks. They fit beautifully. I did a heel flap and gusset, and I used a Chelsea Luxe Yarns mini in a beautiful kind of rusty golden color for my heel. But I didn't really want to do any other contrast on this sock. I just thought it would be super cute this way. And I'm in love with this colorway. It's one of my favorite ones. And I think it was my first Legacy Fiber Arts skein of yarn also. So it's very special to me. I got it on my first trip to Needles Up in Rhinebeck, whatever year, the first year that they did Needles Up was. And I am really happy with it. I just have to weave in all of the ends. And I'm probably I don't normally block my socks, but I think they need a bit of a soak because my tension seems to have kind of wavered here and there. I think I knit them over such a long period of time that they're okay, but I think they could just use a nice little soak to have the stitches ease up, and I'm really loving those. So as I continue to try to finish sock whips, because I still have a lot, and I do still want to cast on new ones. So when I finish one, I am casting on a new one, but I've also got another whip that I've pulled out that I love and I really want to finish this summer. It is this beautiful yarn from the Cozy Knitter. My friend Christina and I did a kit, and this was for the Golden Hour kit. I think it was last spring. And it is the most beautiful color combination of self-striping yarn. And here it is. I had done quite a bit, and then it was time to put in the heel, and I put it aside. And so this is next on my list to check off works in progress. I really want to get this one done and start the new one, and I'm happy it's on DPNs. And I use this beautiful little DPN cozy from the Gnome Knitter, and I'm not sure if Joanna still has these in her shop. I know she still does the beautiful progress keepers and stitch markers, but I have a few of these from her and I really love them. They're just really nice to put your needles in and protect them, especially because I have it in one of these leather pouches now and I don't want it really poking into my bag very much. So I'm really enjoying this, and it's the same vanilla sock recipe. I just really wanted to see these beautiful stripes, and I love how the cream or the off-white stripe has a bit of speckling in it. So I'm really enjoying this, and I'm going to keep this one out so that I can put in the heel flap and get this one going. I have the kit that came with the blue mini. I really liked this one, so that's what I chose. And I will be putting the heel in blue. So that is my first bunny bag. This is the brown leather one. I'm going to jump over to another sock that I started because when I was finished this sock, I really wanted to start something new. And I have been watching the Bakery Bears podcast for years, but I've been really into it lately. And I think I mentioned that recently too. That has not changed. And I was kind of thinking about knitting podcasts or whatever you want to call them, and how that even started for me, my personal experience with them, and I was thinking back, and I am almost positive that the first knitting podcast or crafty podcast that I ever watched many years ago was Molly from Homespun House, when she was in a flat with in Germany, and I'm not even sure if she had her first child yet. I can't remember. She may have just had her. I don't know if she had Elodie or not. Anyways, I used to watch Molly and I loved her podcast. I felt like it was at the beginning of this whole craze and there weren't that many people that I knew of to watch. And I think she just popped up on my YouTube. I really enjoyed her podcast and seeing what she was working on. She wasn't even dyeing yarn at the time. I think she was just making project bags and little things for her shop. She had some charms and things, and I really loved it. And then one day, I think she mentioned Chelsea and Sue. And so I started to watch Legacy Fiber Arts, mother and daughter, at home together in Connecticut, and loved them. So that was my second podcast, and I was like, wow, how enjoyable to see what everyone else is making and get all of these ideas and inspiration and sit at home and knit with someone. And then I remember Sue mentioning the Groceria and the Groceria girls. And so that led me to Tracy and Jody, who had also just started their podcast. Like pretty much, I think I started watching it at episode number 1 or 2. Fell in love with them, and that was the beginning of my YouTube knitting podcast journey. Those were the 3, and it's really amazing to me because I think they've had such an influence on our community, and I'm really pleased and happy to say that I've met them all. I've been very fortunate enough to meet them all at either Rhinebeck or I think they were all at Rhinebeck actually. I've been very fortunate, and I'm very happy that they are exactly how you would imagine them to be in real life. They're really good people. They are kind and inspirational and very, very giving. And so I don't know why I even got on that kind of tangent, but I was thinking about them all this week and how much they have influenced me and probably so many of us. And I was really lucky that it was early on and I got to know them, and I guess the rest is history. But the Bakery Bears is probably one of the podcasts that I found shortly after them, where I was exploring maybe a little bit more on YouTube. And I think Little Bobbins was another one. Yeah, she was definitely one of them. Danny from Little Bobbins was doing it way back then. And yeah, that's how I think I actually felt so inspired to start my own. And I've been really loving watching all of those ladies again. And if they don't have new podcasts up, which most of them do, I just go back and watch the older ones because they are still, nothing has changed. I don't think I am knitting super trendy stuff. And although it's really nice to see all of the new podcasts and all of the new projects that are going on, if you're looking for something to watch, I say go back and watch some of the older ones because there's a lot of good inspiration and information there. And I guess that whole thing came from me talking about the Bakery Bears. And I love Kay and Dan Jones, and Kay just has so many beautiful new patterns, old and new, but I've been really, really inspired by her knitting. So once my Legacy Fiber Arts socks were off the needles, I decided I really wanted to cast on one of Kay's patterns. I fell in love with the crunkled socks that she had on her podcast, and I've seen a few people knit them on Instagram. And even though I almost always knit vanilla socks, I really was craving a little bit of a pattern, and this one is so much fun. It is so easy to get into. It's very intuitive. It's just enough to create interest and a beautiful pattern on the sock, but it is not too much of a pattern so it gets complicated or becomes a bit of a burden, because I like my sock knitting to be kind of mindless, really easy. And this one, all you really have to do is just keep on track of how many rows you're doing in each of the little sequences of patterns. It's very simple to remember, and I think the result is beautiful. It's got this really nice kind of bubbly, squishy texture. And I was reading in her pattern notes that the crunkled socks were inspired by a crumpled up piece of paper, which I love. So it's so beautiful. So happy with it. I am knitting these Magic Loop on a 2.25 millimeter needle. And my favorite Magic Loop sock knitting needle is definitely the Chaigu. I don't know if they're called red lace, but they have the red cords. They are metal and they are sharp and they are my absolute favorite, but I didn't have any free. And so I pulled this one out from my little collection of needles. It is the, is it Lika? I can't remember. The wooden needles, and they're beautiful. And I love my set of interchangeable Lika needles, but I don't like this. The cords, they don't have great memory and they have this bend. And I'm really not enjoying that. So I might have to swap these out and hunt down another set of my Chaigus. I have one of my little leather scissor sheaths on here. They're really, I think they're really handy to protect your bag. And let's talk about this yarn. I had a whole bunch of skeins of yarn sitting out that were contenders for this project, and I just loved them all so much I could not decide. So I finally asked the boys to just pick one, and they all picked this. It is Tanis Fiber Arts. It's the Purple Label Cashmere Sock Yarn, and it is the colorway is called Cabin Fever. I wish I could show you this before I caked it up. I'm not sure if you can get a really good idea of how beautiful it is when it's caked up, but I'm in love with this colorway. It is so much fun to knit. The color is gorgeous, and there is really something about their speckles. They are so vibrant and saturated and precise. I just think it's beautiful. I'm having a lot of fun knitting this up, and I am liking how I'm getting a little bit of a striping kind of pattern in there. It's really, really pretty. I love this yarn. This was actually a gift from the sweet Andrea from Andre Knits. I'm gonna put her name on the screen. She has beautiful patterns, and she sent me this. We did a little Christmas swap a couple of years ago, and I've been saving it, and I really, really love it. So that is my new sock project, which I love. And I have it tucked in a bag with a new little patchwork pouch that I made. I was making a couple of these for a friend, and I decided I wanted one myself. I thought I needed a little summer pick-me-up, and so I made this little butterfly pouch, and I've got all of my sock knitting notions in here. I've got a measuring tape, some washi tape. I think I have these scissors in absolutely every bag that I have. Some stitch markers, just all of the basic necessities in case I need something. And I've got all of that tucked in this little denim bunny bag. So that is my new sock whip. I also am still working on my hipster shawl, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I've got it still fitting in this black bunny bag. I've got quite a bit in here. I have one of my patchwork pouches, have my shawl started, and I have two of the big skeins of yarn in here for now. This one does call for 3. And I also love this. I've just been a little bit distracted with all of these other projects that I'm going to show you, but this hipster shawl is turning out really beautifully. I am using Chelsea Luxe DK weight yarn. It's the Luxe DK, and the color is one of my favorites. I used it in some color work. Oh, I forgot the name of that sweater, but I used it in that little cropped color work sweater that I made. It's called Sunflower. And I think it's going to really spice up any outfit. It is like almost a neutral, but not. It's so beautiful. That was the back. So I've done one of the pattern repeats, and I'm on the little pattern section in between. I'm almost done that part, and then I will have another one of these repeat rows. And then I will get back to the garter, which I'm really enjoying. I just find this is a fun, like a really easy knit. And then you kind of stop, have a little bit of interest here, and then you move on to the easy part again. I'm really looking forward to picking up the pace on this. I just have put it down quite a bit. And I hadn't really been knitting for most of the past month since I podcasted last. I think I had 3 weeks where I barely knit anything. And then in the last week or so, I finished my socks. I started some new stuff. I was just totally inspired to get going again. So I'm really happy to have some of that knitting energy back. Loving this pattern. I have a beautiful progress keeper on here from my friend Maria, who is Forest Charms. And I'm just setting this one aside, and whenever I want to work on a shawl, this is going to be the one that I pull out, because we all know that I have tons of shawls in bags all over the house. My last 2 projects are both blankets. Unusual for me, I am not much of a blanket knitter. I think I just get bored much too easily, and I've tried a couple but have not made much progress. But I am loving both of these. The first one I have shared a little bit with you before. It is in this striped bunny bag. I don't think it's going to be able to fit in here for too long, but for now I have the beginnings of it with all of my minis. Well, not all, but my first batch of minis, along with an undyed skein of fingering weight yarn. So this is a project where you hold 2 fingering weight yarns or strands of yarn together. And it is on a, let's see, I can't remember what size needle this is. I think it's a 5mm. And my eyes are so bad that I can't even really read close up right now. So I am on to the second color of my Cozy Comfort Throw, which is a pattern by Molly from A Homespun House. And I was completely inspired by Amanda's version of this, Amanda from Sweet Skein of Mine. And I had to cast one on myself. And so I'm pretty sure that I shared all of the minis that I was gathering and really excited to start using. So I'm on to my second color. I've got this really cute little donut progress keeper here. This is from Sucra Miniatures, and I think this is the apple cider donut that I got in Rhinebeck. This, it looks like it would take a long time, but I feel like this is flying off the needles. I just haven't had a ton of time to work on it, but it is the most enjoyable evening knitting for me. I just sit in front of the television, and we've been catching up on old episodes of Friends again because we watched the reunion and James is really into it. So I've been loving watching Friends with him at night and working on really easy knitting projects. And this one is actually progressing really quickly, and it is so soothing and comforting to knit. And I wonder if that's why Molly called it the cozy comfort throw, because not only will it be cozy when you're using it, but I actually find it really fun and cozy and relaxing to work on. So I am using Legacy Fiber Arts minis and holding it with a bare undyed yarn, and I really love how it's turning out so far. So that's all I have for progress on this one, but I wanted to share it because I've been very excited about it, and it's keeping my interest, which doesn't always happen with blankets. I have been enjoying working on that blanket so much. I did not expect to be enticed by another one, but I have. I was watching the Bakery Bears podcast, and Kay introduced a new blanket pattern that I fell in love with immediately. It's called the Jelly Roll blanket. I'm sure lots of you have seen it. I've seen a few of you have already started one on Instagram. I'm obsessed with it. It is so gorgeous. It is inspired by Jelly Roll quilts, and I actually have a Jelly Roll here, so I will show you. If you are a quilter, you are probably familiar with these. You can buy these sets of, I don't know if it's 3 inches wide, maybe 2.5 inches wide, of all of these different prints and colors of fabric, and you do strips and create a gorgeous quilt. And so Kay designed this blanket with that in mind. I do not have a very good picture to show you, but if you look at the hashtag on Instagram or check out her latest podcast, you will get to see her gorgeous blanket. And I still have so many minis that I thought, what could it hurt? So I've started one, and I've got it in my Iris bunny bag. And I wasn't really sure how to set up my colors, so I'm kind of just going with it. I know that I'm trying to keep to like a certain color family, but I'm not going to be too picky about it. And I've barely started. I just started not last night, the night before. I started my first color and my first strip, and I'm loving it. I just got a progress keeper marking the front of it for this first one until I get the next color joined. Then it will be really easy to see, because there's a gorgeous kind of seaming detail that I think is really easy to knit, and she has tutorials for everything. So I'm really excited about this project, you guys. Did not expect this to be on my needles, but I could not resist. So the pattern is Jelly Roll Blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. I don't really know what this first one is that I'm knitting with, but I have started to gather a whole bunch of colors for the first strip, and this is what I have so far. So I have a combination of some stress knits, some of my Chelsea Luxe minis from last year's Advent. I think this is going to be my next color. I think it would be really pretty. And a bunch that I don't really know. Got these 3, and I cannot remember what they are, where they came from. I actually feel like some of these are Chelsea Luxe yarns. They were in a bundle, and I think I removed them. And then I have these gorgeous ones that Diane from Suburban Stitcher wound up and shared with me a couple of years ago, and I think they would be beautiful in here. So this is going to be sort of the color story for my first strip, and I might actually repeat that kind of strip in a different order if I need to and if I have enough. So I'm very excited about this project. I have a little circular needle that I'm using. I just thought it would be easy to throw it on here. And I have this beautiful little pecan pie progress keeper from the Gnome Knitter. And so every night when I sit down to relax, I'm trying to do a little bit of work on these blankets, and I've especially been enjoying them on the weekends. I feel like they're the perfect relaxing project when I have a little bit more time. And whatever I feel like working on, I just grab this little bag, take it outside or take it to the couch, and I'm loving them. So that is all of my knitting. I don't really have any dream knitting right now because I think I've cast on all of my dream knitting projects. Those blankets, the crunkled socks, I'm loving every one of them. I've gotten a few really fun packages in the mail lately that I wanted to share with you. The first one is from Forest Charms on Etsy, which is a shop by my friend Maria. I mentioned her earlier. Maria makes really beautiful progress keepers, stitch markers. She's even started making earrings, which is very exciting. And I absolutely love what she makes. And every once in a while, I just need to purchase another one or two for my collection because they really add so much joy to my knitting projects. So I ordered these two progress keepers, and I love how she combines these gorgeous stones with charms. I'm not sure, I can't remember which stones these were, if this is rose quartz. I can't remember this one, but I really loved them. And I feel like Maria puts so much of her creative energy and love into what she makes that I cannot resist. So I ordered these two to add to my collection. And I also ordered a set of her stitch markers. They are really pretty, really simple. There's white and sort of like a jade and a gray, really beautiful, simple stitch markers. And the reason I ordered these was for a specific project. I have been making just little Liberty of London strips of fabric bracelets and adding a charm to them. I think they are so cute for summer, and I wanted to make a few more. And I've been running out of charms that I wanted to use. So I ordered a set specifically for that, and I think they're going to be so pretty. The next thing I ordered was from The Workroom, which is a gorgeous shop in Toronto. I really miss going there, actually. I love buying fat quarter sets from them and little notions and fabrics. So I wanted to get some more Liberty of London fabric. I didn't really need a lot, but I wanted a bit for some summer projects to make more bracelets or hair scrunchies or whatever I felt like. And they had some new prints that I thought were so pretty. So I ordered these two. I don't remember the names of them, but I loved this color combination. I feel like the purples, it almost looks like that iris color of my bag too. Oh my goodness. So I ordered a little bit of this one and a little bit of this beautiful blue one, which is kind of, it is a floral. I thought they'd be really pretty for more bracelets. So I've got that. And actually the reason I was ordering from them to begin with is because I needed a couple of spools of embroidery or quilting thread. I needed quilting thread for my lap quilt that I still need to quilt and a little project that I was working on. So I was on their site and I decided to pick up a little bit of fabric to do some fun summer things. And then I saw these. They have such a beautiful button collection, and I don't know if these are actually vintage buttons because I know they do have quite a few vintage buttons in their shop, or if they're vintage inspired. They have so many colors right now in all different sizes, and I thought these were really fun, really pretty. I wasn't sure what I was going to use them for because they're quite large, but I kind of have a project in mind that I'm going to just keep up here for now because I'm not 100% sure if they're going to work, and I don't really want to plan too far ahead, but I thought they were really pretty. So that was from The Workroom. And I had a really sweet person contact me. Her name is Megan. She is a Canadian maker of these beautiful hand-painted cards. I was so happy to receive these. Her shop is MBP Cards. I will put the link down below. And they are just so beautifully crafted. They are blank, so you can use these for anything you want. I think I'm going to have a really hard time giving them away, but they come with these beautiful craft envelopes, and her work is stunning. So there was that beautiful butterfly, these really pretty flowers, and a cupcake that would be really sweet for a birthday, and this beautiful feather. Her work is stunning. I think they're watercolors. That looks like a watercolor to me. And I wanted to mention her because she was so kind to send these to me, and I wanted to share her shop because it's always nice, especially when we are home so much more and you can't really go to, well, we can't go to any shops right now. I think it is a really great time to support a small business, purchase handmade, and pick up some cards because it's always nice to send someone a card. So thank you so much, Megan, for sending me your beautiful work. I am really excited to share those with someone. So I think that covers all of my knitting. I am going to clean up my mess, and then I have a couple of other things that I really wanted to share with you. I have 2 books to share with you today. One of them is a cookbook that I'm loving, and the other one is called The Rural Diaries by Hilary Burton Morgan. Love, livestock, and big life lessons down on Mischief Farm. I am really enjoying this book. It is a super quick and easy read. I've read that much of it in one day, which is very unusual for me. But I'm really enjoying it, and I think a lot of you would too. She is an actress, and she's actually married to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is Negan on The Walking Dead. And together, the two of them and Paul Rudd and his wife own the candy shop. I can't remember the name of it now. The candy shop in Rhinebeck. So I think that's how I knew of her, and I kind of came across, I'm not even sure if I came across her on Instagram or how I found this book, but the story really appealed to me because she was living a very different lifestyle as an actress and living in New York or somewhere else, I don't know, LA. And then they fell in love with Rhinebeck and they moved there, and they are living on a farm. Very different lifestyle, but I'm just really enjoying it. And it's a story about how they became a part of this really lovely community. She went from living in LA, where she lived for 5 years, and when she moved out, her neighbor thought she was the new owner. They didn't even recognize her, to a really small town where everyone knows each other and helps each other out. And I'm just really enjoying the story of how she found her place there and some of the things that go on the farm and her struggle with infertility after having her first child. So I think it's a really nice read if you're looking for something. I'm also really missing Rhinebeck, and so I think part of that is kind of helping to ease that, because they mention places in Rhinebeck that I remember, and it's just really, really nice. I also have this beautiful bookmark in here from Sally, and it means so much to me. Sally is from Sally Journey Quilts, and I love her. So I'm really enjoying this, and if you're looking for kind of a quick, easy read, I would suggest this one. Another one that I wanted to share with you today is this cookbook. It's called Simply Julia by Julia Turshen. I found her on Instagram, and I love her. I love her Instagram. I love what she shares. I love her recipes, and this book is beautiful. I've been really enjoying it. I've made, I think, 2 or 3 things so far, and they've turned out wonderful. But I thought I would just give you a really quick flip through so that you can get an idea of the flavor of the cookbook, like what it looks like, the photographs. I always find that is something I want to see before I purchase one. And then if I can find them, I will show you the recipes that I have made so far. This looks really good. I want to make that. It is a turkey shepherd's pie. I think this was the section that looked really good to me. French onion meatloaf. So I feel like she has quite a few like family type classic meals. Stuffed cabbage. Lots of good stuff in here. She has some vegan recipes, but overall, I feel like this book has a really good variety of different types of foods. This was a really good chapter, the 11 chicken recipes. I feel like if you had these in your back pocket, you'd be set. She has almond chicken cutlets. She talks a lot about body image and accepting yourself too, which I really love. Spinach and artichoke dip chicken bake. That looks incredible. I made this recipe. This was the first one I tried and it was wonderful. Really easy. It was a great Saturday night dinner when I didn't know what to make. Came together really quickly and everyone enjoyed it. So there are a lot of recipes like that in here. Just kind of, I call them back pocket recipes. Chicken with onion gravy, chicken with dumplings. She's got a section on soups and stews. And I also really liked, oh, she's got lots of side dishes, but I really like her dessert section. She has some loaves and muffins. She's got some really good breakfasts. These are quite popular. I see a ton of people making these on Instagram, the everything bagel hand pies. I'm excited to work my way through quite a few of her recipes. So I wanted to share this because I know I share a lot of cookbooks and I'm a bit of a cookbook collector, but this one I feel is really good to have in your collection. I think it's going to be fun to work through this summer. It just has a really nice feeling to it too. So I'm really enjoying this book. I made this coconut marble loaf. It was very yummy. And this is on my list to make too. Any frozen fruit and cornmeal cobbler. So whatever frozen fruit you have in your freezer, you can pull together a dessert. And these look very popular online as well. So if you are not familiar with her, you should check her out on Instagram. You can see lots of recipes with her hashtag, and I really love her, so I'm happy to have this one. I hope you enjoyed getting a peek into my current knitting projects and some of my favorite things right now. I will see you guys next time.